really wasn't going to make a lot of difference. And that most of the guys were working more than one fire department anyway, and some of them already had some of the benefits that they're going to be getting from that force. So, very interesting to see what happens. I wish I had a chance to tell me what he said again, because I don't think I was over the whole message. But I was really happy to get the scoop. You know, from someone who was really affected by it. Damn if I don't go forget what he said.
It was just so much.
Of course, it may have been one of those things I don't want to remember.
I'd have it all over you laughing. I laughed. It was too much stuff.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Welcome everyone here this evening. It's nice to see a crowd. First, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance, and I would ask Jezebel Merlot, are you here? Could you come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? We're good. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. If you sit right here, All right, the next item is the approval of the agenda. Under 3A, that is actually should be October 1st, not September 10th. So we need to make that adjustment. Does anybody else have anything they want to change on the consent agenda? If not, I'll ask for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Made and second. All in favor? And motion is carried. Thank you. You know, I did jump the gun. Let's go to school recognition. I don't guess I heard anything by doing that. Each month at our regular business meeting, we recognize a student and a teacher from one of the local schools. And this is the Zebulon Middle School this evening, and our student is Jezebel Merlot. Could you come join me? Did I pronounce that right? Did? Good, thank you. I want to read what they had to say about her. Jezebel Merlot was selected for recognition for being an overall outstanding student. She works hard in the classroom to maintain good grades and is respectful to staff members. Jezebel is a role model for other students by standing out as a leader and volunteering for school-wide events through student council. As an 8th grader, she has volunteered to assist special needs students during their active PE classes. Jezebel enjoys participating in the orchestra and has taken a strings elective all 3 years at Zebulon Middle School. This year, she is also learning to play the guitar. Jezebel is an active member of the TRIO Talent Search Program through NC State University. So congratulations to Jezebel for being recognized as Zebulon Middle School's outstanding student. And I hope I pronounced this correct. Misty Cyrene? Did I get that right? Huh? Serene? Okay, sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. Misty Serene is a stellar teacher that goes above and beyond the call of duty to help her students succeed. She began her higher education path at the University of South Florida with a BA in International Studies, and then continued to the London School of Economics and received a master's in Anthropology and International Development. When Ms. Serene is not in the classroom teaching seventh Science and Social Studies, she is also teaching Chinese as her magnet elective. Ms. Serene has been a part of the Zebulon Gifted and Talented Magnet family for 3 years, has a calm, helpful, and pleasant spirit that makes every student feel safe in her classroom setting. Ms. Serene is always building relationships in the classroom and outstanding on the soccer field. She is also the boys and girls soccer coach. The Zebulon Gifted and Talented Magnet Middle School salutes your hard work and dedication you bring every day to inspire tomorrow's leaders. Okay, next is the public comment period. We offer 3 minutes to individuals to come forward and speak what's on their mind with certain restrictions, but we have 3 that want to speak this evening, and Mary Beth Carpenter is number 1.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. I'm Mary Beth Carpenter. I'm Executive Director of Preservation Zebulon. I come here tonight to tell you about our annual meeting that we are holding next week on Thursday, November 14th, from 6:30 to 8 p.m. It will be held at the House of Joy on 108 West North Street in Zebulon. I'm telling you about this meeting to encourage you to come and also to tell you we are launching our Zebulon Memory Project results. We are starting with a tribute to Rex Tippett and his farming heritage in Zebulon. We'll have a film of him speaking to us in January of 2018. And we will also have Carol Ellis, who's Executive Director of House of Joy. She's going to be talking about the history and heritage of that house. We'll also have light refreshments. And I'm also here to thank you in advance for consideration of Preservation Zebulon's utilizing this Wake Lawn facility, this beautiful facility, on potentially on February 8th for Preservation Day. We're excited to be able to use this facility since it's a National Register and Landmark facility, and since we are a preservation group. We are planning to do filming in the Wake Lawn School Museum area of people's memories of Zebulon, 10-minute clips, and we'll also be doing scan-a-thon, taking folks photos that are from pre-1970 and pre-1980 and having them scanned and available electronically. We are working hard to try to preserve our town's memories. These will be available to the public in a future date. We have to figure all those details out. But please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Using this facility was part of our grant application last year when we asked for money and that was funded. So I just wanted to say thank you for your consideration of our request tonight, and also to encourage you to please consider attending our public meeting next week on November 14th. Thank you.
Thank you. Denise Now.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the board.
On behalf of the business community and as your partner for economic development, the Zebulon Chamber of Commerce and the members we represent, want to express our full support for all the hard work that's gone into this Unified Development Ordinance. We also want to publicly acknowledge all the hours that staff, committees that some of you have served on, the planning board, and the town's consultant have invested in creating a plan that's going to serve this community. We look forward to it being approved if it's the pleasure of the board tonight. We believe the plan that you're looking at is going to equip and enable all of us to continue working toward growing smart, maintaining our small town charm, and definitely investing in a vibrant downtown. Tomorrow, we'll see elections for Zebulon. The Chamber has featured each of our candidates weekly leading up to this week, encouraging all who are able to vote to get to know their candidates. We've also continued sharing the information on where to vote and look forward to all that will bring us. We're aware that tomorrow marks another milestone in all that's changing in our community. Our prayer is that the candidates elected will each seek the highest possible good for Zebulon and value unity as we move forward. Thursday, we host our biannual Zebulon Next Workforce Development Conference. This is the morning event that we do every other year. It'll be at Eastern Regional Center, and if you're interested, we would love for you to participate. Some of the groups that will be on the presentation panel include NMACO, Capital Area Workforce Development Board, Bueller, Aeroglide, Experis, Manpower, Jobs for Life, and GSK, and they'll be facilitating. It will be facilitated by our friends at Wake County Economic Development. Business After Hours is the next Thursday, November 14, at Zebulon Rehab. They always put on a great event, and their food is amazing. So that's open to the public. And then Holiday Happenings is taking on a whole new look this year. From the little tree lighting gathering just a few years ago to all that's in store this time around, we're excited for even more partnerships, more opportunities to provide great events for our community. All the details are available on both the town and the Chamber's websites. Thank you for all that you do for Zebulon.
Thank you, Denise. Susan Pierce.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I'm Susan Pierce. I'm on the board of the Zebulon Downtown Arts Council, otherwise known as ZDAC. Just wanted to update you a little bit about some of the things that we've been doing. Yesterday, we hosted an art walk in downtown Zebulon with a scavenger hunt and some prizes, and some people on our board are sporting some of those little snazzy prizes. We had lots of food and fun and games, and just a good time was had by everybody. We do have some exciting events coming up. We will be hosting another artist reception here at the town hall in the lobby area. Our artist this time will be Gaia Matern. She does some amazing oil paintings of endangered species. She also does pet portraits, so if you're looking for a Christmas gift for somebody that loves their four-legged friends, you might want to talk with her. That'll be November 16th from 6 to 8 in the town hall lobby. Our other events will be participating in the Holiday Happenings. We will have a little tent set up to do crafts, arts and crafts with children. It is guaranteed to be messy. We are also working on coordinating a downtown storefront decorating contest. There will be two categories of winners. There's going to be the mayor's choice, and there's going to be the people's choice. The prizes are going to be cash prizes and a trophy. So we look forward to sprucing up our downtown during the holiday season. We're working really hard to continue to accomplish our mission of revitalizing downtown Zebulon through the arts, and we do appreciate your support, not just the financial support in the form of the grant that you awarded us, but also just the encouragement and the positive words that you say to us every time that we see you at one of these events. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Okay, back to the podium. Well, it finally got us back on schedule, so your agendas should be correct from here on out. We have a couple of special presentations tonight. This is the last board meeting for a couple of our long-serving members, Commissioner Strickland and Commissioner Beck, and we want to recognize their service to the town. I don't even remember meetings without them being here, to be honest with you, and I've been here, of course, a long time. But y'all have too. But we do want to show you our appreciation for the service that you've given. So I want to read first, Curtis, you want to come join me? I want to read the proclamation of appreciation to Curtis for his service to the town. Whereas Curtis Strickland grew up in the town of Zebulon, graduated from Wakeland High School, married Jackie Ward, and raised their 3 children here. And whereas he was in the Air Force and worked various jobs before becoming a City of Raleigh firefighter, where he retired. And whereas he has been a faithful member of Zebulon Baptist Church, serving in various capacities as well as singing in the choir. And whereas Curtis has served the citizens in and around Zebulon by delivering Meals on Wheels. And whereas he became a member of the Zebulon Board of Commissioners in 1999. And whereas he represented the Zebulon community on various committees and boards. And whereas his dedication and commitment to Zebulon community and its citizens has caused the community to grow to love and respect him for all that he has done and will continue to do. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Zebulon Board of Commissioners recognizes Curtis Strickland for his 20 years of service and dedication to the town of Zebulon as a commissioner. And I would ask for a motion from the board on that.
I make a motion to approve the board.
Second.
Made and second, all in favor? Thank you, Curtis. Picked up the right one.
Nice.
This just says, Commissioner Curtis Strickland, sincere appreciation for 20 years of service to the town of Zebulon, November the 4th, 2019. You noticed he carried it straight to his wife and gave it to me. Our other retiring commissioner is Commissioner Dale Beck. We won't go into Dale and I's history, because our families grew up together. But anyway, I would like to read the proclamation of appreciation, Dale Beck, for his service to the town of Zebulon. Whereas Dale Beck was born and raised in Statesville, North Carolina, and moved to the town of Zebulon in 1968, where they raised 3 children, and whereas he worked at the family business of Beck Brothers and then went on to open his own business as a real estate appraiser, and whereas he has been a faithful member of Zebulon Baptist Church, serving in various capacities, including 2 terms as chair of the Board of Deacons, as well as singing in the choir, and whereas Dale has served the citizens in and around Zebulon by coaching Pee Wee football and as a member of the Zebulon JCs, and whereas he served as a member of the Zebulon Planning Board, the Parks and Recreation Board for 20 years, and then went on to be elected to the Board of Commissioners in 1989. And whereas the Zebulon community has grown to love and respect Dale for his commitment and dedication in serving them, now therefore be it resolved that the Zebulon Board of Commissioners recognizes Dale Beck for his 28 years of service and dedication to the town of Zebulon as a commissioner. And I would ask for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? And it says the same thing, except it says Commissioner Dale Beck. Sincere appreciation for 28 years of service to the town of Zebulon.
All right, thank you. Occasionally I'm here to do it. Thank you.
Mayor Matheny, we need to motion for the consent agenda, please.
I thought we did that.
No, you amended the regular agenda?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's just not my night, is it?
Too much going on.
Too much going on. You're right. Okay, so I need a motion for the consent agenda.
Move to approve. Second.
All in favor? Okay, thank you, Lisa. Okay, old business, SUP 2019-08, Pierce's Road Subdivision. I'll call for staff report.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the board. The first case before you tonight is SUP 2019-08, Pierce's Road. Just to give you some background, this was heard at the September 16th joint public hearing. The proposal before you today is the approval of 377 dwelling units, a mixture of single-family detached and townhome units. Just to give you an idea of where the property is located within the town, Pierce's Road running north and south right here. Subject property is to the west of Pierce's Road. You have the Weaver's Pond development to the adjacent west, the Hunter's Green subdivision to the adjacent south, and you have vacant property to the adjacent north. The property was recently rezoned in August to single SF 13. Just to orient yourself with the concept plan, Pierce's Road running in this location right here. Like I previously stated, 377 dwelling units, 3 access points. One access point would be right here on Pierce's Road, a second access point tying into the Weaver's Pond development, and then the third access point to the south to the Hunter's Green development. There will be half of a 3-lane section of road construction that would be constructed on Pierce's Road. At the planning board meeting, there was a revision to the TIA, which would the planning board recommended not approving the southbound turn lane because the TIA did not require that. That would be carried forward in a motion today if approved. As far as right-of-way dedication, half of a 100-foot right-of-way, which is a 5-lane section, will be dedicated for future road improvements. Sidewalks will be required along both sides of all streets. There is this black line right here is an internal private greenway through the development. There'll be a 30-foot perimeter buffer along the development, along the western, north, east, and southern property lines, and there'll be 20% open space throughout the development. These are the findings of fact. Staff did find that this development met finding of fact number 4. At the planning board meeting, the planning board unanimously approved the development, finding that it met all findings of fact, and they recommended approval based upon its consistency with the Town of Zebulon Comprehensive Plan, Code of Ordinances, and any other official plan that is applicable. And depending on your decision tonight, these are some sample motions. Once again, if you do decide to approve it, we would need to add that additional language that southbound turn lane is not required. And that concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Questions from the board? Okay, what's your pleasure?
Well, I'll make a motion that we pass SUP 2019-08 based upon consistency with the Town of Zebulon Comprehensive Plan, Zebulon Code of Ordinances, and any other official plan that is applicable.
And the southbound
Southbound entrance.
Southbound entrance not required.
Yes, right.
The southbound turn lane.
Right,
Is
yeah,
removed
turn
from-
lane, I'm sorry, not entrance. Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, comments or discussion? All in favor? And the motion carries. Thank you. All right, SUP 2019-10, 1701 north of Rendell Avenue Internet Cafe.
This case was again heard at the September 16th joint public hearing. Currently zoned heavy business located on North Rendell. The request is seeking a special use permit for an internet cafe. Just to kind of give you an idea of where this is located, you have North Rendell running to the north and south here, right at the intersection of Green Pace Road. You have some vacant property to the southwest. The concept plan would be, the applicant's proposing to use the existing building. And then these are the findings of facts that you would use to evaluate this case. Planning staff recommended denial, coming to the conclusion that did not meet finding of fact number 4. Planning board recommended denial and is unanimous. They felt like they recommended denial based on it not meeting finding of fact number 1, which was the proposed special use will not materially endanger the public health, safety, or welfare. And these are sample motions on whether you would like to approve or deny the special use permit. That concludes my presentation. I'm available for questions.
Questions from the board? Okay. What do you want to do? On the table? Are you undecided? or
I'm
what?
just trying to, one said 1, one said 4. I'm trying to.
Finding of fact was number 4, wasn't it?
Conflict.
Both were denial. Because the staff was recommending improvements because the use was discontinued use for over 180 days, staff wanted to see it brought up to code based on the submittal the applicant proposed. Staff found that it did not meet finding of fact number 4.
Right.
So it wasn't in conformity with the ordinances, policies, or land use plan.
So the motion would be basically number 4. Is that correct?
It could be that,
Well, I mean,
or
that's what he's asking me.
but it could be 4 if you don't find it's consistent with the code of ordinances and the land use plan. But based off the testimony at the joint public hearing, planning board thought it did not meet finding of fact number 1.
I'll make a motion that we deny. Excuse me.
Eric, is that correct?
The applicant presented testimony that was contrary to what the staff presented about it being consistent with the plans because it had been abandoned use for 180 days. So your role as Board of Commissioners is to consider which evidence was more compelling. The town's evidence presented by the staff that it does not comply with the plans and ordinances of the town, or the applicants that had a different interpretation. Commissioner Bumgarner has made a motion to deny. And if you are going to make a motion to deny, you need to make it based on the finding of fact that you feel like was not carried by the applicant. So in this case, the staff has found, which is part of their duty under the ordinance, is to determine whether the application is consistent with our plans, policies, and ordinance, made a determination that it is not. The applicant made a statement and presented evidence that it did comply. So if you believe that the staff's evidence was more compelling, then you would vote to deny based on finding of fact number 4. If you felt like the applicant's evidence was more compelling, then you would vote to approve. That's the judgment of the board. That's why you guys get paid the big bucks.
Right, but the point is that if it's the motion to deny, it should be based on fact number 4.
Yes, yes, sir. That's what the staff has presented in their evidence.
Right, that's, okay. I wanted to be clear on that.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
There you go. All right, I'll make a motion that we deny SU 2019-10 on the proposal. The special use will not be, you flip back.
Oh,
Number 4, where's it at? Okay, yeah, will be not in general conformity with the ordinances, policies, land use plan, thoroughfare plan, and other plan officially adopted by the Board of Commissioners.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. Other comments or discussion?
Mead, would you kind of give us a little, number 4, why, general conformity with ordinance policies, could you give us a little more information on why number 4?
Sure.
I'm not really sure about,
Commissioner
what
Strickland.
they're not.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just need to make a comment before Meade answers, that's all. But please, go ahead and finish.
I'm not sure why we're voting for conformity with ordinances, policies. I'm not sure I get exactly what the point is.
Okay, fair enough.
Why they want to deny it because of number 4.
The only reason I wanted to make a comment was because we need to be cautious about introducing new evidence as part of these questions. It's perfectly acceptable to ask for clarification about certain matters, which is exactly what you're doing. But when Mr. Bradshaw answers, he needs to base his answer on the staff report and not go beyond the bounds of what was entered into evidence. So with that caution, I would suggest that Mr. Bradshaw can respond and answer that, but I would stick to the report, the staff report that you have.
Okay. The staff report references the Code of Ordinance, Section 152.109, abandonment of discontinued of nonconforming situations. And what that's stating is because this use was discontinued for more than 180 days, staff would require this development, when submitted with the special use permit, to be brought up to what the current ordinance requires this site from a development standpoint. So we'd want to see right-of-way dedication. We'd want to see them conform to the parking ordinance, the landscape ordinance, the lighting ordinance. And what they submitted did not bring the site up to conformance.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, all right. Other questions or comments? All right, we have a motion and a second on the floor. You ready to vote? All in favor? All right, unanimous. Thank you. Okay, ordinance 2020-34, 114 East Lee Street, demolition.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the board. Sit down here for a moment. Before you tonight is ordinance amendment or a budget amendment, specifically ordinance 2024 to authorize the town to spend $75,000 for the demolition of 114 East Lee Street. This property has been an ongoing code enforcement situation through a minimum housing case as well as nuisance violations for approximately 2 years now. Staff has spent an exhaustive amount of time trying to work with the applicant or the property owner to bring the property into compliance. The staff report outlines the circumstances where the town has reached out to the property owner, tried to work with them through various sources, and ended up resulting in a resolution that this board approved pursue legal action to allow for the town to seek a court order to require the property owner either bring the property into compliance or allow for the town to go in to do demolition. That order specifically allowed the property owner 60 days to bring the property into compliance, and they were unable to do so. So tonight we're requesting authorization for $75,000 to complete the court authorized demolition of the property. The anticipated demolition is approximately about 4 months. The schedule is provided along with the outline of the detail as one of the attachments, and I am available if you have any questions.
Question? Okay. Is that 75,000 based on bids or just staff estimate?
Staff has worked through several resources to come up with line item estimates based on the various components. Part of that is until we get in to clean the structure to determine the potential asbestos abatement. It's not an absolute number. It also does provide a little bit of a contingency depending upon the impacts there. Public Works Director Chris Ray is available. He's the one that worked to formulate those numbers, and I believe he's available if you do have questions specifically about that.
Well, I don't think we need to call him forward. I was just curious as to how confident you were in that number.
I'm very confident in Chris Ray's
I got you.
ability to give us a really good estimate.
Yeah, I'm not questioning that. I just didn't know if you had bid it out. Okay, well, that answers it. All right, other questions?
Is that 75,000 to tear it down? Is that what you're saying?
That's for, to go in to clean the site, to remove the structure, to remove a vehicle that is in violation on the property, and to bring the site into full compliance, which would be a vacant parcel.
It'd be cheaper to remodel it, wouldn't it?
Potentially not. The property has deteriorated since the last bids or the last evaluation was put in, and at that point, the estimated cost to improve the structure was $63,000, but that was some time ago. Since then, the property has been vacant. There's been additional deterioration to the property, so it could be on par with what it would cost to bring the property in compliance. The other component of that is our minimum housing code currently has thresholds on what we could spend to go into to repair the structure, and given the value of the structure, we'd be exceeding that ratio.
That just sounds like a lot of money to tear a house down. It really does. I just. And how do we recoup that money?
After the demolition is complete, we would send a bill to the property owner. In the event that they did not pay within a particular period of time, it would go. It would then go to the county as a tax lien against the property, in which case we could proceed through foreclosure process, and that's included as one of your attachments tonight, in which case the town would end up acquiring the property in the end.
Motion.
Yeah, I'm waiting on the motion, but I didn't know if anybody had any other questions. What's your pleasure?
I make a motion to approve Ordinance 2020-34 for the allocation of funds for the demolition of 114 Heasley Street as outlined in the staff.
Okay,
Second.
made second. Other comments or discussion again? All in favor? Thank you. All right, Unified Development Ordinance.
Okay. Tonight is potentially the completion of a very lengthy process that has gone on between 6 and 9 years, depending upon which timeline you want to start with. This would be the adoption of the Unified Development Ordinance. As kind of a recap of the past history, the public hearing draft was provided and advertised on October 4th. Joint public hearing was held on October 14th. A joint work session was held on October 16th. And then the planning board unanimously recommended approval of the Unified Development Ordinance with amendments at their October 21st meeting. Those amendments were then provided to you at the October 23rd board workshop, as well as you provided additional requested modifications in terms of the responsible party for the fee in lieu. And then tonight we're here for potential consideration to adopt the Unified Development Ordinance. All the required statutory requirements for approval have been met. And therefore, staff does recommend approval of the UDO, subject to the sample motion that is on your screen. It does include the modification to section 6.3.2 B3, 6.3.2 B4, 6.3.3 B4, and 6.3.4, which were the parameters to change the authorized, designated individual to the planning director for the fee in lieu process. I'm available if you have any questions, as well as the town's consultant from CodeWright, Chad Meadows, is available as well.
Questions? I think there's one change I would like to see in it, and it's very minor. I spoke to Chad about it earlier, and I apologize for not bringing it up until tonight. It just never got around to it. But I'm not sure of the section, Chad, you looked it up, but that when it gets to civic organizations, it was requiring a 2-acre minimum lot size. And I think that puts all of our civic organizations in nonconformity. So I would suggest that that be changed to 1 acre.
Staff is comfortable with that modification. We just have to note it. What's the reference?
Yeah, well, I'd like to see it as we adopt it.
J1.
Okay, so the proposed motion would also have to include the modification to section 4.3.3 subsection J1 to change it from 2 acres to 1 acre.
Okay. Other comments from the board? What you want to do? Y'all slow on the trigger tonight.
Everybody's slow tonight. I'll make a motion that we move to approve the Unified Development Ordinance with the amendments handed out at the October 23rd, 2019 Board of Commissioners work session. With what is listed on our page, plus the change from 2 acres to 1 acre on the
Well, it's section 4.3.3, J1, 2 to 1 acre.
I knew that. That's what my motion
I got you.
includes.
I got you. All right. There's a second.
Second.
Motion made and second. No other comments or discussion? All in favor? And the motion carries. Thank you. I think we started working on that back in the dark ages, because it's been a long time coming. Okay, Parks and Recreation under new business, Blue Star Memorial.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the board. I come before you with a request to engage in a partnership with Steel Magnolias to implement a Blue Star Memorial at the corner of West Judge Street and North Rendell Avenue. The Blue Star Memorial is a program overseen by the National Guarding Club to honor all men and women that serve, have served, or would serve in the United States Army Armed Services. The proposed partnership with the Steel Magnolias can be summed up as follows. The Garden Club will fundraise to purchase all materials and supplies relevant to the Blue Star Memorial. Public Works will assist with installation, and the club will maintain the memorial garden. The Steel Magnolias have a long-standing partnership with the Parks and Recreation Department supporting garden projects between the community center and community park. The club has been a regular supporter of the Farm Fresh Market, in addition to supporting projects throughout the community, such as local schools and the library. The discussion before the board is whether to approve the execution of the memorandum of understanding between the town and the Steel Magnolias to develop a Blue Star Memorial Garden at the municipal complex. I'm available to answer questions, and we also have members of the Steel Magnolias.
Questions? All right. What you want to do?
I make a motion that we approve the memorandum of understanding with the Steel Magnolias Garden Club to implement the Blue Star Memorial Garden at the municipal complex.
Motion made and second. Other comments or discussion?
Does that include the memorandum of understanding?
Yes, she did mention
I
that.
didn't hear that.
Correct? Okay, yeah. Other
Need
questions?
a second?
Yeah.
Yeah, I second it.
Second.
All right, motion made and second. All in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Municipal complex facility use application. Chris?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the board. Tonight we come before you to ask your consideration on behalf of Preservation Zebulon to use the municipal town hall facility here for their memory project and their scan-a-thon project. As part of the budget process this year, the Board of Commissioners approved a grant request allocating $1,000 to assist them with that memory project. The current facility complex policy does not allow the use of the building, but tonight we're coming before you to ask for an exception to that to allow the Zebulon Preservation Board to use this for their project. So the discussion before you tonight is whether to provide an exemption for the use of the facility and to grant them access on February 8th between 12:30 and 4:30, and in case of inclement weather to use the facility on Saturday, February 15th, 2020. Just as a note, the Zebulon Preservation Society has agreed to provide up the insurance associated with the facility use policy. And I'll be available for any questions.
And they would pay, and we would have a staff member on site.
They have agreed to pay for the $102 charge for staff to be available, and as we do with other facilities, we'll be here to open it up, providing assistance in the case of emergency during the event, and be here to close up and lock the facility at the end of the event.
Right. I just want to be sure we had somebody here, Chris.
Yes, sir.
I think that's really important. Okay. Other questions? What you want to do?
Oh, motion to approve, please.
Second.
Motion made and second. Other comments or discussion? All in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Board comments. Annie? No? Okay.
I'm going to miss Dale and Curtis. I wish them the best.
Okay. I got you. Sir?
I just want to say it's been my pleasure. I don't know why I did this. I retired from the fire department and looked and see who I could serve, what I could do for my community. And it's just jumped out at me, and I thought I didn't have a chance to win. I just threw my name in there, and sure enough, I've sat here for 20 years. And it's been good times, but most of all, I felt like I have done something for the community. I felt like I made some decisions that's helped this community, and I just want to thank everyone for, thank the town, the wonderful town staff. That's what I'm going to miss the most. Anyway, thanks, everybody.
Okay. Donna?
Well, I just, like I say, I've appreciated all the times that we've spent with Dale and Curtis past 20 years. I don't know what they're going to do on the first Monday of each month, but maybe they'll do like what they should and come back and help us out some more. Thank you, guys.
Dale?
Well, I really wasn't going to say anything, but it's been a pleasure to serve this town. I've always tried to do the best for the town. When I came on the board, we were having a lot of problems with news media and this type of thing, and some things needed to be straightened out, and I think we've done that over the years. And I've been proud of the fact that this board and the board since I've been on have had no personal agendas. I think everyone has been for the town of Zebulon, and they may not always agree, and that's all right. But I think everyone on the board that I've served with has been responsible enough to say, hey, this is the best for the town of Zebulon. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. That's just the way it goes. But I've always tried to do what I thought was right. And again, I appreciate all the support I've had over the years, and it's time for me to fade on away. Thank you.
Thank you, Dale. Well, I'll close out the comment section by thanking not only all of the board members, but especially Curtis and Dale for their contributions over the years. We all go way back in time together, and as Dale said, we haven't always agreed with each other, but that's okay. We're not expected. If everybody liked the same thing to eat every day, it would be a dull old world. So yeah, things do change. But I want to go one step further, and we have 7 candidates running for 3 seats, and a number of them are here tonight. So I want to thank them for putting themselves out to serve the town of Zebulon. We'll know tomorrow night by this time who is going to be serving, but still I appreciate the fact that they would be willing to. And I don't think we should forget that people willing to serve the town is important to the town. So thank y'all for being willing to do that. Okay, Joe, manager's report.
All right, it wouldn't be a manager's report if I didn't mention the monthly movie is Ugly Dolls at Community Center. So that's November 15th. Get there at 6:30. As always, popcorn is free. I'd like to recognize Bobby Fitz to go over some budget transfers, and then after him, I'll recognize Mike Clark.
I'll keep this extremely brief. I just had 3 budget transfers to report. These are operating items that were moved between operating lines that were under $5,000, which is allowed in the budget ordinance. In Parks and Recreation, we moved $4,800 from part-time salaries to contract services. Moved $4,500 from part-time salaries farmers market to special events, and moved $1,200 from part-time salaries athletics to athletics. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
And then I'll recognize Mike Clark.
Okay, with the exception of getting a UDO adopted, this is one of my favorite parts of my job is I get to introduce you to a new member of the Zebulon family, Jacob Parenti, if you can come up. Jacob is our new planer GIS technician. He is originally from the Benson area. He's a 2016 graduate of Appalachian State, sorry, did I pronounce that right?
Close enough.
Appalachian State University. He has a Bachelor's of Science in Geography. He's currently residing in 4 Oaks. He does have 2 years of experience in a combination of things. When he was down in Benson, he wore many hats, including code enforcement, GIS, as well as other planning-related activities. But most importantly, he is an avid fisherman. That's how he spends the majority of his weekends. But we are very thankful that he has joined our family down in the planning department. And you're going to see many great things coming from him, not only in terms of as his career progresses with the town, visually enhancing a lot of the documentations that we're going to be providing over the coming years through his mapping and GIS capabilities. Do you have anything to say?
Not much other than thank you for having me up here. And I'm thankful to everybody I've met so far and being so welcoming, and looking forward to my time here.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you. Thank you. Judge?
All right, and just lastly, I'd like to say, and I can say this of all of you, but this will be the last time I get to say this publicly to Curtis and Dale. I really have appreciated your commitment to the town. Your willingness to work together. You understand that you're part of a group and you can only accomplish things as a majority, and so I appreciate that you work together as well. I appreciate that you do your homework. You've done a lot of heavy lifting over the 4+ years that I've been working with you, and I appreciate that. And also personally, I'm going to miss our monthly meetings. You guys tell fantastic stories, and I appreciate that. So thank you and good luck, and appreciate your service.
Okay, well, that concludes most of our business. We have a closed session as permitted by North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A5 for the purpose of discussing property acquisition. So is there a motion to go in closed session?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Thank you, folks, for coming tonight.